All right, Larry Krueger outside of Legion Stadium, where Sunday Super Bowl 58 is on. Niners and Chiefs. The winner, changes football history. The Niners, if they win, they have the most Super Bowls of any franchise in the history of the game. No team will have had more. And if the Chiefs win, it's their, it's the dynasty. It's 3 and 5 years, and God knows that Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid have established a dynasty. But the 49ers are the favorite, and it should be outstanding to watch. We're outside of Legion Stadium, and of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. And on this Vegas trip, we're also sponsored by Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're at 205 Cypress Avenue, Pacific Grove. Call Anthony Catania at 831-521-5264. We're also brought to you by Valley Hill Roofing.net. 209-481-6851. Their website links are in the description. All right. Well, Deion Sanders went on ESPN's First Take and said that Brock Purdy is the best story in the NFL in the last 25 years.
Everybody in America has a title, whether you agree with it or not. They give us a title.
Yes, sir.
This kid is the best story, probably that has been over 2 decades. Coming from the last player taken to in the Super Bowl and lead his team to the Super Bowl because of his play. I love this kid, man. I mean, shoot, I'm looking for a Brock Purdy. Is he? Brock Purdy. I'm sorry, I can't recruit right now. I'm sorry.
And it's really, if you think about it, it's an amazing thing that we're standing here talking about Brock Purdy leading the 49ers against Patrick Mahomes, 1 win away from the Niners' 6th Lombardi. Can Brock Purdy put himself in the same category with Joe Montana and Steve Young as a Super Bowl winning 49er quarterback? But even just beyond that, we'll get to Purdy in just a second. He is an incredible story. But just the question of that Deion raised, what is the best story in the NFL in the last 25 years? And, it's hard to really say for sure. The ones that we came up with when we were talking about it, James Harrison, the Steelers, who went from undrafted free agent, no round, nobody wanted him, to, defensive MVP, defensive player of the year, 2-time Super Bowl champion, 5-time Pro Bowler. I mean, he just had an amazing career and he was never drafted. That's obviously a great story. I thought of Deion himself, I should say, and Bo Jackson, the way that they played 2 sports. Now, granted, that's more than 25 years ago, so maybe that doesn't count. But Deion and Bo were incredible stories in football. Tom Brady's reign obviously comes to mind. 6th-round pick out of Michigan. Didn't even start full-time for the Wolverines. Steps in when Drew Bledsoe goes down. Never looks back. The ultimate, situation where he becomes the dominant quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback of all time. And I mean, it's just that is an amazing story. I think it's one of probably, until Brock Purdy, was probably far and away the best story. Then there's a couple others. I mean, if you're just talking about the Super Bowl itself, Nick Foles and the game that he played for Philly against Brady, beating Brady in the Super Bowl, that was an incredible story. And then Mahomes, what Mahomes has done. I mean, Mahomes, in this game Sunday, Patrick Mahomes will be the youngest quarterback in the history of the league to start 4 Super Bowls. So his reign and his run is very, very impressive. But Deion said that Brock Purdy is the best story in the NFL in the last 25 years. And I got to agree from the standpoint of, I mean, it's almost like something you would write in a movie. I mean, he goes from Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick of the draft, which I'm sure he has got to be tired of hearing, but it's just nothing sends a louder message than you're picked last. And you persevere. I mean, 2 years in. Last year, they leads him to the NFC Championship game. He hurts his elbow. This year, he's got to battle back from the elbow. Didn't even have much of an off season. Didn't have full strength on the elbow really right away, testing it. leads them to a 12-win season and through two very difficult playoff games, and now is one win away from winning the Super Bowl and giving the Niners their sixth Lombardi. It's an incredible story. I mean, it is absolutely an incredible story. And then when you get to know the kid and the fact that he's a really solid kid, from Arizona through Iowa State, a man of faith, a guy who's really, really grounded. He's a humble leader. I mean, it is an incredible story. And then you think about, here's this guy that, people thought was too small, didn't have enough this, didn't have enough that. He's number one in the NFL in many quarterback stats. He's top 5 in the NFL in almost every major stat across the board. Number one in some incredible metrics like when blitzed, when pressured, third down, red zone. I mean, we're talking about the best quarterback in the league, third down success rate. And if you say, well, how's he doing it? I mean, I'll say this. Physically, he's more elusive than a lot of people think, and he just gets away from the rush. But he's really smart, and the guy just is football smart. And so he throws to dissipation. He knows where he wants to go with the ball. At this point, 2 years in, he's in pretty good lockstep with Brandon Ayuk. He's in pretty good, has a pretty good rapport with all of his weapons. So he knows where they're going to be. And so he's a little bit more mobile than you think, especially on a fast surface like he'll face in this Allegiant Stadium on Sunday. And he's got a little bit more on the football than you think as well. And he processes what he sees. I mean, it's going to be an interesting game. Can the 49ers run the football on the Kansas City Chiefs? That's the big question. If they can, they're going to win this game. And then the other question on the other side is 49ers have not done a good job against Montgomery or Gibbs or Aaron Jones in the playoffs. They haven't stopped the run well. And yet, the effort of their defense was called out last week. It's going to be very interesting to me to see what the 49ers are defensively, because they have a defense that's loaded with big names. But I agree with Bart Scott, who said that, you know what, this defense is not doing it. So we'll see. I mean, the Niners have a lot of big names. Can they stop Pacheco and the Kansas City short game, quick game early on? I think that's going to be one of the questions. All right. Once again, Krug Show from Vegas. Check us out all week. We're going to be putting out great content. Go to the YouTube page, hit a like, hit a follow, subscribe. We appreciate it. Every single one of you guys. We'll be going live later on tonight with Jesse and Vish. Look for that. The coach on Saturday. We got a lot going on Friday. Chase Sr. will be in the house. Damon will be here. We're going to be at the Bellagio. A lot going on. Beautiful day in Vegas. Go Niners. And thanks for supporting the Krug Show.